Have you ever wondered why he goes silent? It's a silence so profound, so absolute, it feels like a physical presence in the room. It's not just an absence of words. It is a wall, an abyss, a sudden and terrifying void where connection once lived. Most women interpret this retreat as a personal rejection, a verdict on their worthiness. They see it as a punishment, a deliberate act of emotional warfare designed to wound and control. The ego screams, "What did I do wrong?" The inner child panics, fearing abandonment. You begin to replay every conversation, every interaction, searching for the fatal misstep that caused this chasm to open between you. But what if this silence has very little to do with you? What if it is not a verdict, but a process? What if, in that deafening quiet, he is not shutting you out, but has been forced to turn inward? We are not speaking of the manipulative silence of a narcissist, a tool used to punish and devalue. We are speaking of the profound, instinctual retreat of the masculine psyche when it encounters an emotional or psychological reality it cannot immediately compute. He is not in a void, he is in the crucible. He is in the deep, dark waters of his own unconscious, wrestling with specters you cannot see. His silence is the sound of a battle being waged within his soul, and to understand it is to understand the very architecture of his deepest self. It is a journey into the shadowlands of his mind, a place where his ego is not in control. His retreat is an archetypal pattern, as old as time itself. The masculine principle, in its raw form, is one of order, logic, and action. It seeks to solve, to build, to conquer. When faced with a complex emotional landscape, yours, his, or the chaotic one created between you, his primary tools become ineffective. He cannot build a bridge over a feeling he doesn't understand. He cannot conquer an anxiety that has no name. So, he does the only thing his instinct tells him to do, he retreats to the cave. This is not a conscious, malicious decision. It is a primal, systemic shutdown. His conscious mind, the ego, has been overwhelmed. It is a psychological self-preservation mechanism. The world has become too loud, the data too complex, the emotions too contradictory. In this silence, he is processing. Think of it as a computer that has received too many commands at once. It freezes. It must shut down non-essential programs to reboot the entire system. His words are non-essential. His emotional expression is non-essential. The only thing that is essential in that moment is his attempt to restore his own internal order. He has withdrawn from the external world to contend with the internal one. What is he contending with? Often, it is a confrontation with his own inadequacy. An event has occurred that has made him feel weak, foolish, or powerless. This triggers a profound sense of shame, one of the most intolerable emotions for the masculine ego. His silence is his shield, protecting his fragile sense of competence from your perceived judgment. He is not judging you, he is hiding from the projection of his own brutal inner critic, which he imagines he hears in your voice. Inside that fortress of silence, a storm is raging. This is the realm of the shadow, the part of his psyche that contains everything he has repressed, denied, and is ashamed of. It is the repository of his fears, his insecurities, his unexpressed rage, and his forbidden vulnerabilities. Society, from his boyhood, has handed him a very narrow script for what it means to be a man. He is to be strong, decisive, and in control. He is not to be confused, frightened, or overwhelmed. When life presents him with a situation that forces these shadow aspects to the surface, he has no framework to integrate them. He has not been taught the language for these feelings. So, he falls silent. He is in a standoff with himself. A part of him, the vulnerable, authentic self, is crying out for expression. But the conditioned ego, the stoic soldier, shoves it back down into the darkness, refusing to acknowledge its existence. This internal conflict consumes all of his psychic energy. he has nothing left to give you. He cannot offer reassurance because he has none for himself. He cannot explain what he is feeling because he himself does not know. He only knows that something inside feels broken, and he must retreat to try and put the pieces back together in the dark, alone. Your presence, your questions, your very need for connection can feel, to him, like an unbearable pressure on a fractured bone. It is an interruption of a sacred and terrifying internal process. This process is often triggered by you, but it is not about you. It is about what you represent to his unconscious mind. Every woman in a man's life becomes, to some degree, a screen upon which he projects his anima. The anima is his own inner feminine, his unconscious soul image, a composite of his mother, his past lovers, and the cultural archetypes of the feminine he has absorbed. It is his connection to emotion, to creativity, to intuition, and to the mysterious realm of the soul. He unconsciously seeks a woman who can carry this projection for him, a woman who can be his bridge to these deeper parts of himself. He falls in love not just with you, but with the parts of himself he sees reflected in you. But you are not a projection. You are a real, sovereign being with your own light and your own shadow. The moment you act in a way that contradicts his idealized anima projection, when you are too powerful, too emotional, too independent, too real, the projection shatters. This is a moment of profound psychic crisis for him. The image he has fallen in love with has dissolved, and he is left facing a real woman, and more terrifyingly, he is left facing his own raw, undeveloped inner feminine. He retreats into silence because he must reconcile the idealized goddess of his imagination with the flesh and blood woman before him. He is grappling with his own disillusionment, not because you failed him, but because his fantasy could not contain your reality. His silence is a period of mourning for the death of an illusion. And what happens to you when that silence descends? It activates your own deepest wounds. The void he creates becomes a terrifying mirror. When he withdraws his attention, his validation, his energy, you are left alone with yourself. If you have not cultivated a strong sense of inner worth, this emptiness will feel like annihilation. His silence triggers your own animus, the unconscious masculine within you. But often, this inner masculine is underdeveloped, a harsh inner critic rather than a supportive inner king. It is the voice that says, "You are not good enough. You are not worthy of love. You have been abandoned because you are flawed." This is not just psychology, it is physiology. His perceived abandonment can trigger a primal trauma response, the same fear of being left to die that an infant feels when its mother leaves. Your nervous system floods with cortisol. You enter a state of fight, flight, or freeze. You might fight by sending a barrage of texts, demanding a response. You might flee by emotionally shutting down yourself. Or you might freeze, endlessly checking your phone, paralyzed by anxiety, unable to focus on anything else. You have handed the key to your emotional state over to him. His silence becomes the command center for your life. This is a profound form of self-abandonment. You have left your own inner kingdom to stand outside his locked gates, begging for entry. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus taught that we are disturbed not by events, but by the views we take of them. His silence is an event. It is external to you. It is, in essence, neutral data. Your suffering is not caused by his silence. Your suffering is caused by the story you tell yourself about his silence. The story is, he is silent because I am not enough. This story is a projection of your own shadow, your own unhealed wounds. You have made his internal process into a referendum on your value. And this is the moment where your true work begins. The moment you realize his silence is not a weapon against you, but a catalyst for you. It is an invitation from the universe to stop looking for your worth in the reflection of a man's eyes and to finally, truly, turn your gaze inward. This journey requires you to become a psychological detective in your own life. When his silence echoes, what does it echo back to you? Trace the feeling. That raw, sharp panic of abandonment, where have you felt it before? Does it have the texture of a childhood memory? The feeling of being left alone, unheard, or unseen by a parent? His silence did not create this wound, it merely poured salt on it. He is the trigger, not the cause. The cause is a much older, deeper pain that you have carried within your own psyche. You have been unconsciously seeking a man to heal this wound for you, to fill that void. You have been asking him to do a job that is not his to do. It is your sacred work. When you feel the compulsive urge to break his silence, to text, to call, to demand an explanation, you must learn to pause. This is the wisdom of the Stoics. Between the stimulus, his silence, and your response, there is a space. In that space lies your power to choose your response. In that space lies your freedom. The untrained mind collapses this space instantly, reacting on pure, panicked impulse. The trained mind, the mind of the woman on the path of individuation, holds that space open. She breathes into it. She observes her own frantic energy without judgment. She asks herself, what am I truly seeking right now? Is it his connection, or is it merely relief from my own anxiety? More often than not, it is the latter. You are trying to use him as a drug to soothe your own inner turmoil. To reclaim your power, you must withdraw your projections. Just as he projected his anima onto you, you have projected your animus onto him. You have made him the carrier of your need for validation, security, and purpose. You have unconsciously made him the symbolic king who will rescue you and give your life meaning. This is a fantasy, a fairy tale that disempowers you. The path to wholeness, what Jung called individuation, is the process of taking back these projections. It is the process of finding that king, that source of validation and strength, within yourself. It means cultivating your own inner masculine energy, your capacity for logic, for action, for self-discipline, and for providing your own security. When you do this, his silence begins to transform. It is no longer a source of terror. It becomes simply a space. It is a space that you can now fill with your own life, your own purpose, your own joy. You stop waiting by the phone and you start living. You reconnect with friends, you dive into your work, you pursue a passion, you spend time in nature. You fill your own cup so completely that whether he offers you a drink or not becomes irrelevant. You are no longer a victim of his emotional weather patterns. You are the immovable, centered eye of your own storm. You are learning to source your emotional stability from an internal, unshakable foundation, not from the shifting sands of his approval. This is not a strategy to get him back. It is a strategy to get yourself back. He may be in his cave, wrestling his demons. Let him. It is his journey. You have your own to attend to. Your work is to excavate your own shadow. What parts of yourself have you disowned to be more lovable? Have you silenced your own voice? Have you suppressed your own power? Have you neglected your own needs? His silence gives you the perfect opportunity to hear the whispers of your own soul, the parts of you that have been waiting patiently for your attention. This is the alchemical secret. His withdrawal forces your integration. His absence necessitates your presence with yourself. The lead of your pain and anxiety can be transmuted into the gold of self-knowledge and unshakable inner peace. This is the ultimate reframe. His silence is not a rejection of you, but a redirection to you. It is a sacred pause, a divine intervention, forcing you to stop outsourcing your sense of self. It is a call to adventure, an invitation to embark on the most important journey you will ever take, the journey back to the core of your own being. When you can sit calmly in the space his silence creates, without anxiety, without neediness, without making up stories, you have achieved a profound level of spiritual and emotional mastery. You have learned to be your own anchor in the storm. You have discovered that the love and security you were so desperately seeking from him was inside you all along. The philosopher Seneca wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Your mind, in the face of his silence, will create 1,000 catastrophic scenarios. It will tell you that he is with someone else, that he no longer loves you, that you are destined to be alone. These are ghosts. They are illusions born of fear. The practice is to observe these thoughts like clouds passing in the sky, without attaching to them. You are the sky, not the clouds. Your true self, your core essence, is the vast, calm, and unchanging awareness behind the turbulent thoughts. This is the essence of mindfulness, a practice that builds the muscle of non-attachment. When a man feels this shift in your energy, when he senses that his silence no longer destabilizes you, it has a profound effect on him. Your calm becomes a powerful mirror. Your centeredness unconsciously gives him permission to find his own. You are no longer desperately clawing at the door of his cave. Instead, you have built a warm, inviting fire outside. You are not waiting for him, you are simply being. You are radiating a quiet confidence that says, "I am whole with or without you. My peace is not negotiable. My worth is not up for debate." This energy is the most magnetic force in the universe. It is the energy of the woman who has completed her own inner work. She understands that his process is his own. If he is wrestling with his shadow, that is his sacred battle. She cannot fight it for him. She cannot rescue him from his own depths. To try to do so would be to dishonor his journey and abandon her own. The most loving thing she can do is to hold the space for him to do his work, while she diligently does her own. This is not passive waiting. It is active, sovereign being. She is tending to her own garden, cultivating her own inner kingdom. If he chooses to emerge from his cave and join her there, he will find a queen, not a needy child. He will find a partner who can meet him in strength, not a patient waiting for a cure. This detachment is not coldness. It is the highest form of love. It is a love free from egoic need and desperate attachment. It is a love that says, "I honor your path, and I honor mine. I love you, but I love my own soul's journey more." This is the radical self-possession that changes the entire dynamic of a relationship. You shift from a position of seeking validation to one of radiating wholeness. You are no longer trying to get something from him, you are simply being who you are. This is the energetic signature of true freedom. And from this place of freedom, you can see his silence for what it is, a reflection of his own inner world, not a measure of your worth. What he is processing in his deepest psyche is often a collision between his internal map and the external territory. The map, his beliefs about himself, about you, about how life should be, has been proven wrong. The territory, the raw reality of the present moment, is overwhelming him. His silence is the time it takes to redraw the map. He is re-evaluating, recalibrating, and often, regressing to a more primitive state of being to survive the psychic shock. He is confronting his own limitations, and this is a deeply humbling and often shameful experience for the masculine ego. He is wrestling with the brutal truth that he cannot control everything, especially not the complexities of love and connection. And as he redraws his map, you must be focused on your own territory, the vast, rich landscape of your inner world. Are you exploring its hidden corners? Are you excavating its buried treasures? Or are you living in a small, cramped corner of your own being, waiting for him to grant you permission to expand? His silence is that permission. It is the universe telling you to stop focusing on his tiny patch of land and to start cultivating your own magnificent empire. The work is to become so rooted in your own being, so fascinated by your own becoming, that his presence becomes a wonderful addition to your life, not the center of it. This path requires immense courage. It is far easier to obsess over his actions than to face your own emptiness. It is easier to blame him for your anxiety than to take responsibility for your own unhealed trauma. But the easy path leads to a life of quiet desperation, of perpetual waiting, of being a slave to the moods and whims of another. The difficult path, the path of turning inward, is the only path that leads to true freedom and unshakable self-worth. It is the journey from girl to woman, from princess to queen. It is the process of building a throne within your own heart, a throne that no one can ever take from you. Remember the words of Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor: the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. When he is silent, what is the quality of your thoughts? Are they thoughts of lack, fear, and self-recrimination? Or are they thoughts of opportunity, self-discovery, and empowerment? You have the power to choose. You can interpret his silence as a sign of your deficiency, or you can see it as an opportunity for your own magnificent unfolding. The latter choice is the one that leads to liberation. It is the choice to alchemize pain into power, absence into presence, and silence into wisdom. When he finally does emerge from his silence, you will meet him as a different woman. You will not be the anxious, pleading girl he left behind. You will be a woman grounded in her own center, radiating a calm and powerful self-assurance. You will not need his explanation to feel whole. You will not require an apology to restore your peace. You will be able to listen to him from a place of genuine curiosity, not from a place of desperate need. You can engage with his process without being consumed by it. This is the foundation for a relationship between two whole individuals, not a codependent dance between two wounded children. And if he never emerges? If his silence is a permanent departure? You will still be whole. You will still be peaceful. You will grieve the loss of the connection, but you will not grieve the loss of yourself, because you will have finally, irrevocably, found her. You will have learned the most crucial lesson of all, that your wholeness is not contingent on anyone's presence. You are the source of your own love. You are the validator you have been searching for. His silence was the harsh but necessary teacher that led you back to this fundamental truth. It was the fire that burned away everything that was not essential, leaving only the pure, unbreakable gold of your own sovereign spirit. He is processing his fear of not being enough. He is processing the shame of his own perceived failures. He is confronting the gap between the man he wants to be and the man he is. He is battling the ghosts of his father, the expectations of society, and the raw, untamed nature of his own shadow. His silence is a testament to the weight of his internal world, a world he has been taught to navigate alone. It is his burden, his battle, his path. Your path is to recognize that you are not the cause of his war, nor are you the cure. You are a sovereign entity on your own journey of healing and integration. Your power lies in radically shifting your focus. Instead of decoding his silence, you must learn to decode your reaction to his silence. What is your reaction trying to teach you? What unhealed part of you is it illuminating? This is the work of a lifetime. It is the deep, rewarding process of becoming the heroine of your own story. You stop being a supporting character in his drama and take center stage in your own epic. You realize that the greatest love story you will ever experience is the one you write with yourself. His silence is merely a single chapter in that story, the chapter where you learn that your peace is your own responsibility and your worth is your birthright. This is the alchemy of the soul. You take the base metal of a painful human experience, being met with silence, and you use it as the catalyst for your own transformation. You do not bypass the pain. You go into it. You feel the anxiety, the fear, the loneliness. But you do not let it define you. You hold it. You breathe with it. You ask it what it has to teach you. And slowly, miraculously, it begins to lose its power over you. You are integrating your own shadow, and in doing so, you become more whole, more powerful, and more free. You are no longer waiting for him to break the silence. You are learning to enjoy the sound of your own magnificent, peaceful, inner world. The ultimate liberation is realizing his silence as a gift. It is the space you needed to finally hear your own soul. It is the emptiness you needed to finally learn how to fill yourself up from the inside. It is the challenge that forced you to become your own hero. He may be lost in the labyrinth of his own mind, but you are not required to get lost with him. You can stand at the entrance, shining your own light, and trust that he will find his way. And if he doesn't, you will be fine, because you are no longer afraid of the dark. You have learned to be your own light. The woman who knows her worth doesn't chase, she chooses.